DJI Mavic. So what's in a name? Got that coming up next. Hey everyone, this is Bill from BillTheDroneReviewer, where I make drone and drone related videos. If you're new here, welcome, and consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live with co-hosts Marcus Crawford, Ron Braun, and Lauren Donauer. We spent the better part of the show talking about the DJI Mavic Air 2. And during part of the show, we were informed by Lauren that it's probably not going to be called the DJI Mavic Air 2, but the DJI Mavic. We discussed the reasons for that in this clip coming up. So Lauren, I'm going to go ahead and put your screen up on there. And you can take it away, sir.
Okay, we've kind of talked about this before, and a lot of these pictures really leave little doubt to a lot of the stuff that I had discussed earlier. I don't know how well you guys can see my mouse, but anyways, if you look at the overall size of the drone, it's bigger than the original Mavic Air. And I think we need to almost stop, because I don't think they're going to be calling this the Mavic Air 2. I actually believe they're just going to be calling it a Mavic. And I will show you why in a slide or two. But anyways, from our discussions, as you can see, that motor design is entirely a different motor design than the previous Mavic Air. The overall size is bigger. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of the drone with the wings unfolded, but new gimbal design, and that leads into another part of the overall design change. If you remember with the Mavic Air, it had a real issue with up camera angle, so that if you went into hard acceleration, you were kind of looking at the ground most of the time. So that has been resolved with both the body design change as well as the new gimbal. As you can see, you've got the sensors on the bottom here, as well as the ground lighting, which is kind of a nice little feature. That really shows off the back sensor here, if you can see my mouse at all. And the new prop design. So that was part of what I was talking about a few months ago. New motors, new ESCs, new battery. Probably expect a flight time of around 30, possibly as much as 35 minutes. Now this one here is probably the most telling one. If you look at the remote controller, a lot of people saying, well, that's ugly. But if you look at it, it kind of looks like the new smart controller, does it not? And that leads me to believe that this is most likely going to have OcuSync, just like the smart controller does. Some of the other things, and with that OcuSync, of course, we're going to have the much better signal range. And but unfortunately, with the slides, you can't really tell whether or not the side sensors are there, but it should have side sensors for full 360 obstacle avoidance. And finally, no big shock, but it's going to have ADS-B
For it.
Can you share my screen again, Bill?
Sure thing.
Yeah. Just something Marcus said. If you have a nice close look, what is it? That says on the bottom Mavic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they have been kind of renaming the line of drones, because we used to have the Spark, right? And that's gone, and they went to the Mavic Mini. And rather than having a Mavic Air, just Mavic. And I suspect that the Mavic 3 will end up being just the Mavic Pro. My thoughts. Don't know, but I think they're cleaning up the product line names.
That's exactly where I was going with it, Lauren. That's the exact same thought I had. I totally agree.
You know, and I think, and you bring up a good point here, Lauren, because, and Marcus too, with the, differentiating the drones, because, when you think of when you think of the Mavic Pro, okay, the original one, you have this picture in your mind. It's like, for example, somebody says, DJI Phantom, okay, boom, you have the iconic image in your mind, all right. With a Mavic Pro, you have the image in your mind, all right. The spark, everybody gets an image, and now with this, okay, when you're talking about a Mavic Mini, okay, people will know the image. When you're talking about a Mavic Pro, a Mavic 3, people will have an image. And when you talk about a Mavic, people will have an image. So, and I think this is good marketing on DJI's part, because they're differentiating it between the, let's call three, classes of we'll call them, for lack of a better term, consumer level drones, and putting some distinctions between them. And that's actually very smart marketing, okay? Because, we'll have the Mavic Mini will be appealing to the beginners and the newbies, and people just getting into quads. With the Mavic itself, or Mavic, it'll appeal probably mostly to people like us, wanting to kick up, but not wanting to spend the, $15, $16, $700. And then, there's going to be the Mavic Pro or the Mavic 3 series, where you're going to have people who are going to want that extra, who are going to want the 8K, who's going to want the 6K with a 1-inch sensor, who's going to want the dual thermal imaging for, maybe, search and rescue capabilities, or, other types of things that you're able to do with it. So it really is kind of lending itself, is a very smart marketing move on DJI's part.
Yeah, they cover all their different customers in a simple and understandable line. The worst thing to do is to go in to a product you don't know a lot about, and you can't make sense of the names, and that's over drones or any other category. And just in our beloved Zinos, if you came in, if you never heard of a Zino before, and you started shopping for Zino and you wanted the best Zino, you'd probably buy the Zino Pro because it's the Pro, right? Well, the Zino Pro is not the best Zino. The naming is confused, just like the current Mavic line's a little bit confused. I mean, like, for instance, when the Mavic Pro first came out, it was the very first Mavic. It should have just been a Mavic. They should have saved the Pro name for the next one or the better one. So I totally agree with cleaning up the names and the product line. It is going to be a great help for new consumers to pick the proper drone for themselves, and placing this supposed just Mavic in the middle of the lineup, or the top of the middle, like quite an advancement over the Mini, and enough drone for most people that aren't professionals or real, we'll say real high-end amateur photographers that may need the 1-inch sensor of a Mavic 2 Pro, or going forward just a Mavic Pro. If what we laid out here is correct, I think it's a great business decision on DJI's part.
Question of the day: what do you think of the DJI Mavic Air 2 being called the DJI Mavic? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.